Season 4, Episode 19 of Moshi Moshi Podcast Des. I'm Zach here with...
The one, the only, the man. He's the man. He's copyrighted. Yes, Lincoln. Wait, have you heard that song?
The man.
She's the man. Yeah.
Oh, wait, she's the man.
No, he's the man.
No, I heard she's.
Oh.
I could have sworn you said she's the man. I don't know. Maybe I heard what I wanted to hear.
No. If you want to hear about a girl being a man, that means you're a tranny. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
And we don't judge on this show.
Is that even I don't think that's a phrase. I think that's actually an offensive phrase. I don't think you can say tranny. I'm pretty sure you can.
Well, you just said it. You just said it twice. So hashtag.
Well, I'm not directing it
Lincoln.
towards that. I was just like, I'm asking. I'm being curious, man.
Well,
oh boy.
I don't know how we transition from that.
We don't. We stay in here in total silence, just like
It just
reflect on our actions and how we are egocentric, is that how do you go again? Egocentric, cisgendered, masculinist. I can never say that word.
Masochist? Wait, misogynist?
Misogynist. People that deserve to be killed or some shit. Like, I don't know what feminists normally say on this shit. Like, not even real feminists. Like the women who like just go, I believe that I should get everything good and nothing bad. Like, well, that's not equality. It's not how that is. But speaking of platforms that I will die with, we're talking about Young Rock. I'm kidding. Because he had to deal with the issues and telling about stories. I did love... Okay, so there was a whole series. We're going to be talking about it. And we're going to, of course, give our reviews. But I just wanted to speak about the fact that that The Rock did a Joe Biden. And I was like, oh, no, I got that reference. But he was just like, well, here I'm going to tell you about a story. And then he went in 20-minute long story. The guy's like, he went over his time. Like, what the fuck am I? That's a Joe Biden. That's a reference. Because Joe Biden just goes into stories and you're like, is he okay to run the fucking place? Like, is he okay? And it's like, well, Trump's trying to run back again and he's going to be five. You right.
and people who haven't seen Young Rock might be thinking, why are they talking about Biden and Trump now? Well, the frame story of the show is that The Rock is running for president. So that's...
In 2033? 2?
Yeah, 2032. No muss, no fuss. Johnson 2032. You know what? They should just sell like fake Johnson for president.
Somebody's gonna put it in there, and now it's gonna be part of the ballot. Now it's gonna steal the vote from somebody else. I mean, just like when we have put in Goku, Shrek has also been on the ballot before. Somebody's random uncle.
John Cena.
Well, you wouldn't see him on the ballot because you can't see him. Dun, 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 dun. He should make a fucking series, and it's just a blank canvas, and then other people talking to him, and he's like, "Where's John Cena? You can't see him." Dun, 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 dun. You're like, I'm not watching 12 episodes of this.
The benefit to Cena for president is that you don't need Secret Service because you can't kill something you can't see. So
you see them and it's like, well, if we can't see him with our eyes, we can use biometrics and try to see him. It doesn't show up on there. You're like, I've done every spectrum of vision and nothing shows. You're gonna see this RKO? What the fuck? It's not even his move. His attitude adjustment. What is his attitude adjustment again? Isn't that where he like does this and then like?
Yeah, he lifts you onto his shoulders and then he pushes you off.
Okay,
yeah.
Which strength crazy on that one, but yeah. So this is about Rock. He's going for presidency, and then of course this leads him to have many different anecdotes. Yeah, I know words. Where he will go into his stories.
Well, it's kind of funny because like. When I saw the first episode and I'm thinking like, okay, so he's running for president. I'm like, how are they gonna keep tying this into his childhood, and like I'm like thinking to myself, so every time he's just having an interview and he's like, well, let me tell you about this story, and it's like 10, 15, 20 minutes long, and he's just sitting there, and the other person's just like, yeah, yeah, and he's like, yeah, and so then I was trying to date this girl. And she was like a rich white girl, and you know what I mean. Like it's kind of funny to think about
What
it.
was her name? Was it actually?
It was
No, it was
Karen.
not.
It was Karen.
Was it actually Karen?
I think it was.
Karen.
Yeah, it was
Oh
Karen.
my god! I was like,
Which had to be intentional on his part.
well, who knows? It could have been actually Karen back then. She didn't seem like a Karen. Well, I did love that high school logic of her like, well, you didn't trust me, because what she said, like, you never even gave me a chance. I know I'm shallow, but you didn't give me a chance. I'm like, you just explained why I would have never give you a chance. You just came off as shallow. Why would I think you would not judge me for being poor?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what shallow means? Like,
it's like I totally would, but the fact that you lied to me is worse. It's like, okay, all right, well.
it's just like, I'm gonna put myself in a high ground. Like, okay, it's pretty much like Young Rock did like Aladdin, but instead he didn't get rewarded for it by a genie because everyone's like, I fucking love that story. He's the best prince ever. I'm like, he lied to Jasmine for most of the fucking show. Like, that's Aladdin. Spoilers. He lies about everything, still gets the girl, and kind of actually had a reason for lying because, like, the prince was never going to be like, yeah, that's street urgent, or not prince, sorry, the Fazeer, whatever the fuck his name is.
Fazeer.
It was like he was never going to accept that guy in the fucking house. It was like, you want that? He has a monkey. No. Are there monkeys in Saudi Arabia? I don't fucking know. I really actually don't know. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, fuck it. It's a fake ass fucking actual place. But yeah, so like he it is
Saudi Arabia is fake.
No, you know what I mean. Ali Alibaba, the whole fucking like wherever that shit is supposed to be.
I think you're just digging the hole deeper.
Shut up! It's sand. You can't dig in it. It doesn't. It just moves.
It's Agrabah.
Agrabah.
And you know what? I only know that from playing Kingdom Hearts, not even from watching Aladdin.
Well, when you watch Aladdin, well, especially because a lot of times we watch it as kids and going, to be honest, as a kid watching anything, you just absorbed fucking things. It was like, that was cool. And that was that. Don't trivia. This kid literally just saw colors for like 2 hours and was like, it's only when you get older where you're like, oh yeah, now I can understand.
You gotta do the golf clap. You're like, this was amazing. This.
Yeah, this was amazing. But yeah, like, that's why bringing up the kids is also like you get to see how Young Rock is as a kid and how he would be different and how he had to fight some other kids because of a boogie board. Which,
oh god, yeah,
10 children just wanted to beat his, like, they all beat me up. I'm like, why? He's like 8. Like, come on, man. One of you could have beat his ass. Like, you don't need all 8 of you. But that I have not been part of a gang and I don't know how to fight unfair.
It's tough on them streets in Hawaii. So, you got
to be honest, you might joke. It kind of is. It's tough on any streets, to be honest.
I mean, shit.
I guess not even the only streets I guess would not be tough is in Weston because I again made a joke way back in high school about living in the ghetto and people said there are no ghettos in Weston. I'm like, oh. If you only knew, motherfucker.
But
I've lived in those streets of Pepper Potts.
Well, that's a totally different town, so that's why. No, but it's either way. The Hawaii rock young show television. No.
Yeah, no, he did like because it goes again. Kid when he was in high school and playing. What was the reference they always say? Where his father told him to do like play up something.
Oh, you gotta work a gimmick.
You gotta work a gimmick.
Which,
yes.
which as a wrestling fan watching this show, I laugh when I hear that because that's like it's common terms used amongst like wrestling
Yep.
fans and inside people. Like you talk about gimmicks, you talk about baby faces and heels and things. So to hear them say that on like a mainstream television show, it makes me laugh.
Like, I got
Like,
it. I got you. I
yeah,
got you.
it's like
Well,
this is
but
funny. Work a gimmick. Yeah.
like it's like yeah, no, like, and then he was of course like 5 finger discount like from the mall, which a lot of people did. Like
I don't
that.
I don't know if I'd say a lot. I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
no,
people
like you
do.
would
Yes,
you would not expect how many people like I have actually stole from the mall. Like
probably,
you're
probably.
like oh shit. Like you would think like these were just the rough and tough kids that are like here's some drugs. Like no, but it was just like people just would get the idea. Hey, I can't pay for this. Put it in my purse. Like,
Or or in the Rock's
or
case,
kleptomania. It's
yeah. In his case, it's
working the
like,
gimmick.
yeah, I'm just trying to impress this. I'm trying to impress this girl. I need the clothes. I don't want her to know that I'm living in an apartment, and my
That
dad
was
doesn't make
actually the
money.
weird thing about like watching those shows and watching other shows like that is we never like again only reflecting this back to when we were in high school. We did not have that girl that existed in every high school who apparently was like the most popular girl. Like you could never get number of this girl, such and such. Like that did not exist. There were
She,
just a lot of different girls.
well, to be quite honest, our graduating class was like 1,200 kids, so I'm pretty sure there maybe was a girl like that. There's no way we would have known. There's no we the human brain can only comprehend 150 relationships, and we had 1,200
That is
kids.
true. I gotta remember that we never were in a small ass fucking high
Yeah,
school.
we were
There's
not in
like
a
two
small high
hundred to
school.
300 students.
There was so many. Like there's probably like there's groups of people we had no idea. We're like, I don't. Who are you? You went to my school.
Oh, but believe me, they know us our asses on Facebook when they're like, "Hey, so I had this new business idea. Who the fuck are you? I have no why.
It's like
I have one mutual friend, you asswipe."
like you know me. We had that math class in 10th grade. Remember third period? Like I sat like 4 chairs behind you. We never talked. We never talked. I knew you though. I knew you. I knew of you.
We never talk. And that's saying something because I talk to like pretty much everyone because I'm an annoying prick.
Oh jeez.
Notice me. I'm kidding.
First day in class. Hey everybody, I'm Lincoln Edwards, and they're like, you don't have to introduce yourself. Oh, I'm Lincoln Edwards. They'll never forget you. They'll never forget you.
Here's my card. I have a business card.
Oh yeah.
Laminated.
Just handing them out one by one, and the teacher's like, I have to get the class started. It's like, excuse me, I need to give out my credentials. This is pre Facebook, okay?
I love saying pre-Facebook. Like they're like, how do you know about Facebook? Like,
Yeah, right.
I do things because that's how business savvy I am. West from The Rock was not, but apparently he could live like a fucking maniac.
Oh yeah.
Which, dude, that was so sad about like him in like his college years, where he's like, okay, I'm gonna get freshman. Then he got like injured, so of course, like he had to come back with the sophomore year and couldn't let his depression let his grades go down because then he, like, they could kick him off. Which I'm like, think like. Because there's always a weird thing with like football, especially like sports. Like, yes, it's a stereotype that jocks are like, "Well, fuck school," but it's like, no, you need to actually have a normal grade point average, or you lose your scholarship, and you could just leave. You should just leave at that point because what the fuck are you supposed to do? Like, you came in on this, you can't leave. Well, you can, but have you ever met any friend who you talked to in college that were like, yeah, I left the fucking my sport, and you're like, yeah, it's hard. I've talked to people who left the actual sport they came in, and they're like, yeah, shit got bad. Like,
I mean, I had a roommate or my dorm mate freshman year tried to walk on to the football team because he played football in high school and thought, hey, I could just show him what I got. and I think that dream died very quickly. I mean,
Because
he
that's the
tried.
problem. Was like
He tried.
you tried. Yes, it's always good to try. But there's always a weird thing of like in football, especially because you're like, okay, well now I'm in college, and you have to remember like when you're in high school, yes, you were dealing with the caliber that is in high school, and some kids didn't know things, blah blah blah. So you were a shiny star in a little city. It's normally always a little city. No matter how big your city you think you are, you're a little city compared to the fucking college that now has different goddamn races that you've never met before. You're like, oh shit. Like, so yeah, you're no matter what, you're always a little fish in a big ass fucking pond. So have fun with that.
Um,
So now you go to like that fucking football where you have like the greatest athletes from all different high schools. You're like, oh no,
yeah,
stuff.
which is exactly the situation he was in because he was coming from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is a small ass Pennsylvania town. Sorry to people from Bethlehem that might watch this.
Okay, you know it's a small town when it's named after a fucking biblical term. Like, honest to God, that's true. I don't know why, but apparently,
but, but yeah, so he did come from like that was a small town area and a small town high school, and he went to the University of Miami, which at the time was one of the best teams in college football. Like it was in.
oh, dude, they won almost every single time in the series we were watching. We're like, the hell?
Yeah,
They had a ring. They had a fucking ring.
So it was crazy to think it's like okay, so he was good enough to make it onto a team like that, but even he admits in one of the last episodes he's like, I was good, but I was not great because I'm like you're surrounded by Warren Sapp, future Super Bowl champion. Ray Lewis is working out.
MVP.
Yeah.
He had an MVP that was like, this is my junior year. You're like, bro, what? Like that was the thing I did. Like whenever they showed a character like that was definitely going to beat The Rock, they always did his accolades. You're like, oh yeah, that's why he's gonna lose. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
His future accolades, I should say.
But it's also a fascinating thing to think about, like for especially for people that don't know the stories about The Rock's life. It's like, wow, he really did play on the same team as those guys. And if you're a football fan, you know who those are. You might not be a wrestling fan, but if you watch this, you're like, oh shit. But most people did not see The Rock play football in college because he really was on the bench.
I am definitely one of those people.
we were little when he was playing.
we were trying to learn our I was going to say our times table, but I don't. Wait.
At 2 years old? No.
Oh yeah, no. We were trying to count by twos and tie our shoes pretty much at that point. Isn't that a weird thing? That's just something you couldn't do back in the day.
Tie my shoes?
When you were little, you're like it's such a natural thing now, but you're like, oh shit, this is a skill you had to learn. Like you had to do this, just like any other skill that you have. That's like fucking brain nowadays.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't used to know how to add. Like I didn't know that.
You're like, I am such an accomplished human being now.
I'm an accomplished human being. I did my own taxes. Suck it, past Lincoln. Suck it.
Past Lincoln is sitting on a couch watching Toonami drinking a Yoo-Hoo, not having to do his taxes, and he's laughing at you.
Yes, he is. Because he doesn't even know what taxes are. Hey, if you don't do this right, you get audited. Like, pay us back 10 years in debt. Like, I don't know what's going on. Talk to the people.
Well, back to Young Rock. You have the one thing that I was talking with Lincoln about before the show was that it's similar to like the Goldbergs in the fact that it's another show where guy narrates, flashes back to his childhood. But the thing that makes it stand out is the fact that it's split between these three timelines. And before the show ever even got off the ground, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to weave these in and make it work? But as I watched the entire season, I realized this is the best way to do it. It's like each episode, it's like they go in a pattern. They go like small, teen, and college. And at the end, at the beginning, at the first episode and the last episode, they touch on all three. But like in the middle,
Mm.
they just keep going, and the stories in those timelines continue forward into the next episode for that timeline. So that really ties it together too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I think that's what made it for me. It's like once I got the concept of it all down, and the fact that like the Rock's just a likable guy. So like a show that he's in is probably going to be decent anyways. Like
Yeah, and they did
Ballers is
pick
a good
good
show.
actors portray the Rock through the
Yes,
years,
and
and
everybody
there was a
else.
lot of funny parts. Yeah, oh yeah, there was a lot
Yeah,
of funny parts because like the fact that when Rock was in high school, the teacher or sorry, not the teacher, the principal thought he was just like a what was it, undercover cop because he just looked too fucking big.
he's like principal was about to invite me to a to a Eagles game on the weekend. He's like, you just
Which
keep doing what you're doing, Mr. Johnson.
which is funny because, and that's another good example of him being like a small fish in a big pond when he goes to college. Because when he was in high school, he looked like the big kid, like he was an adult.
Yeah.
When he goes to college, all those people look like grown ass men. Like I was like, oh my god, like how does muscle make you look so old? Because like, dude, okay, the black kid, like I can't remember in this when he went on his second semester, the one who was big and was the defensive lineman. What was his name?
I think that's Warren. I think that's Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he look like he was just? I'm 21. I'm like bullshit, bro. like you look like you're in your second child. Like the fuck?
It's like I'm 18 years old.
It's pretty much just what like happened when we watched Big Brother, and it's like Nick is 24. I'm like, who's 24? That grown ass man is 24. And well, you're going to tell me the girl's like 30? She's 42. What the fuck am I watching?
I just love though, like when he first walks into the locker room, first day at University of Miami, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's Rocky Johnson's son." Yo, he told us that you got on the cover of Wheaties Hong Kong or something like that. And he's like, "What?" And then he calls his dad. He's like, "Why did you tell him that?"
Tell him this?
And he's like,
Working the gimmick, man.
and he's like, yo, I got a cousin in Hong Kong. I'm gonna see if they can get the box for you. He's like, no, please no.
I love how
so
his
great.
father looked very much like how his father
yeah.
did in real life. I was
Spot
just like,
on.
I thought this was the same guy. like they went back in time, got him. Like, we need to act like your son.
Like the
Like
dad,
that was spot on. Sorry.
the dad, the mom, the grandmother. I don't think I've never seen photos of his grandmother. I've seen photos of his grandfather, but I've never seen photos of his grandmother.
Well, the mom wasn't actually that pleasantly plump.
In real life, probably not
Yeah.
modern day now, but like back then, probably.
Oh, maybe.
Because you got to
Well, I
think
don't
this
know.
isn't modern day. We're looking
Oh,
at.
that is true. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Maybe she did change because
Human beings change over
no.
30
Why
years.
I think this is normally the fact like when people get older, they get bigger, and
Not all the time.
Not all. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Not all the
It's not,
time.
yeah, it's not always.
Because sometimes you do lose weight when you get older, or when you get older because I don't know, your brain's just like, hey, you know what, food, fuck it, fuck it. Nah, you don't need this shit. Go to sleep at 5. Oh, I'm not gonna get used to that. I swear to you, our generation is the worst old people ever. We are not going to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This is just not happening.
But either way, like his mom, like his mom, his dad, possibly the grandmother, the Atha and Sika look similar enough. Andre the Giant, it was weird because Andre's, trying to find a lookalike for Andre the Giant without finding someone who has or had his condition, very hard.
Elephantitis?
No, it was not elephantitis.
Sorry. No, it's not. What was? No, he's just tall. Isn't he just big?
No, he had an issue with his glands that he never got fixed. So he just kept growing and growing and growing. The Big Show had the same problem.
Isn't it elephantitis?
No. No, it's not elephantitis.
Well, okay. Well, isn't elephantitis supposed to be like something with the pituitary gland, and that's what? Oh, but I think elephantitis works on just one
It might be one limb.
specific organ.
This is like a tumor growing on your gland, and it's causing it to your everything
Oh,
grows. Your hands grow, your heads grow. But yeah, no, it's not elephantitis. But yeah, the Big Show had it, but he got surgery to correct it. And Andre never got the surgery because his attitude, which maybe he would regret it later, I don't know, but he told people, God made me this way, so I'm not going to change it. And that was a problem.
he was a Barley Mar
Bob
Barley
Marley.
Bob Marley. I put Bob and Marley put together. Barley.
He was a
He was a
Barley.
Bob Marley guy because that's the same thing that happened. They literally were like, "Hey, we need to cut off just a fucking toe," and he's like, "Nah, I came in with 10 fingers and 10 toes, going out the same way." I'm like, I get it. Like it was religion, but at the same time, like you make good music.
Like,
But hey, it's good. Probably it's good to go out like a rising phoenix than to go down like a fucking. I had nothing better than a rising phoenix. That's actually like the greatest fucking analogy.
I'm just picturing Andre the Giant with like elephantitis of just his head. So it's like a big giant Andre head, like
Okay,
oh,
we probably shouldn't laugh because people do have elephantitis,
yeah, no,
and we're
it's
not making
serious.
jokes. It
It's a
is a
it's a
serious
serious
problem.
condition, as well as this condition that he had. But
Oh yeah,
the guy that they got to play him, I'm like, he doesn't like look, but he's got the height and the awkward
he
like
he
this.
has the persona
Yeah,
of him
he can
to the
embody
point
it.
where you're
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, no, I got you. That actually a lot of the actors were like, this is like
oh yeah,
Macho Man. He looks. Mind you, it's not really hard to not look like the Macho Man. You
yeah, because
just
you can wear
gotta kind of just be.
sunglasses and
You just gotta be pasty and like muscle, like, and just be able to grow a mustache that can be made in that
in the
image.
same the
But
Macho
yeah, no.
Man.
But yeah, no.
Junkyard
All
Dog,
the
I think.
characters kind of look the same, and I
Iron
do like.
Sheik. That was another one. Iron
Yes.
Sheik looked like Iron Sheik.
But yeah, like I do like all the supporting cast. I do like, of course, the kid, and even when he gets older, his friend, who's his friend, he had one of those good at like. I'm not saying I don't have good friends, but like that was in high school. Like, well, yeah, she has his friend in high school. I had a group, which thank you guys for being my group of friends. A lot of people only get one, and that was a good. He was a good friend. Like he helped the Rock and like went with him and then like was able to carry his family. Like, he was like, I sold the car. I was like, he didn't have to help them. He did not need to actually be like there for the family. Like, yeah, no, we can take you and your parents, whatever.
Hmm.
Oh, we forgot even the mom's boss.
Oh god.
Where, dude, like, how does she have a daughter that's such like villainous on earth when she's such a good person? Like, I don't. Okay, yeah, we know the stereotypes. Like, rich people are just like peasants, like all that BS. But that girl, like, that's a really down to earth woman who is just happens to be rich. Like, because the fact that like she didn't call the police when the guy stole the fucking thing, or instantly didn't go after the
Yeah.
mom. Like, I was like, oh, that's some good character right there. Because I was like, oh shit, she got caught. Oh, it's over. It's done. We're going to see the next episode. Rested. I'm like,
I just like how she was like, "Oh my god, do you want to watch some Sally Jesse Raphael?" Like she's like, "What?"
or the fact that she made a joke about it, like later on in the show, where it's like, yeah, like that pig thing that you stole from him. I'm like, who is this lady?
Yeah. I mean, she was a cool side character that kept popping up. It was just like her because she's cleaning her house and stuff like that. I remember when the Rock's dad shows up and he sees all the porcelain towels and he's just like turning them inward, and he's like,
I
"Oh,
was like, no, no,
I
I
just don't
like
like
them that
that."
way. I like them looking at me. I'm like, I agree with you. I don't like them. I don't like porcelain dolls at all. Fuck that shit. Like, lady of my future, if you have porcelain dolls, throw that shit outside right now. It's not gonna be one of those compromise shits where I go into the house and be like, well, deal with it. Like, I'm a collector of porcelain dolls. What?
It's like,
fuck this shit, I'm out.
let it be known. Lincoln's Tinder profile. He is seeking pleasantly plump women who do not like dolls.
I wouldn't say pleasantly plump.
Well,
I would say.
I mean, you use the term, so I'm just assuming that.
I would say thick over pleasantly plump, just because for some odd reason, if you say pleasantly plump, you're gonna get boom, 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 boom. Like, she's 300 pounds. Like, what? It's like, but I thought you liked me for my character. Like, no.
you know the lyrics to the Outcast songs. I'll say.
Don't do that. I will actually sing Outcast. You do not know how much this is in my memory banks. Fucking love the goddamn music. They should have never split. But at the same time, I know what's about Andre 3000. And when you think about their characters, not as a rant, like, but when you think about their characters, the fact that they ever actually did songs together, you're like, that was a miracle in itself. Like, the Big Boy seems like the most gangster motherfucker ever, and the Andre 3000 just seems like Urkel combined with a gesture. Like it did not work.
They're a yin yang. They're a yin yang, so they work. But then again, they also put out 2 separate albums as one album, so I guess that tells you all you need to know.
Pretty much like, so, yeah, we don't want to. It pretty much be like if Kanye West dealt with Eminem as a fucking album. Like, let's do this.
That
Kanye.
would be weird.
I don't even know where they would go with that. Like, I don't like. Would it be just holy and like fuck God, but at the same time, God is the greatest? Like, it's so weird.
I'm picturing the cover, and you have Kanye at the front of an altar, and he's like giving the whatever it's called when you give the body of Christ. He's giving it to Eminem, who's like on his knees like this. That would be amazing. And then it's like the crossover is like Eminem trying to do that style of rap where it's like, hallelujah, hallelujah. Eminem, praise the Lord, don't know what to do. I'm about to... I can't.
You're like, oh God. But yeah, rating of Young Rock, first season, there will be a second season. It was renewed. Same thing with Keenan, somehow.
If you like Keenan, good on you.
Good on you, man. One thing I know is this definitely wouldn't be on Fox because it would be canceled halfway through.
Yeah, right.
People are liking our show? Fuck that shit. Reba's coming back.
It's like, well,
no, that's a lie. Before anyone said, going,
hey, don't put it out there into the universe. The last thing I need to see on Twitter is season 12 of Reba coming to CW 2022.
Hey,
not that I don't like Reba McEntire. She's fine, but
I don't like that show. Well, probably it's because of the country aspects, and I'm just like, I don't like this music.
There's certain sitcoms that are like, you just watch them and you're like, this isn't my vibe. If that's the good way to say it. Like, everybody.
Roxanne was one of them.
Roxanne? What the hell is Roxanne?
Not Roxanne, sorry. Why did I say Roxanne? I said it's the
Roseanne. Oh, Roseanne.
Roseanne. I said Roxanne. I was like, Roxanne? That would not be a show because it'd be like, she was a hooker. Then she became a mother. Yeah, right.
But like for me, like Everybody Loves Raymond. Like when I see that show come on, I'm like, there's just something about.
I like that show. I've watched it so many times.
But then again, I watch Seinfeld, and you're like, I don't watch Seinfeld either.
When they were like, it's a show about nothing. That's all you need to say. Fuck this show. I'm not watching it.
What about, let me throw something else out there. What's another good... Well, I know we both watch Modern Family, so that's check for both of us. What about Martin?
Martin!
There you go.
Bro, I'm black. I have to, like, it literally had to be put into, like, you're a Negro of certain age, Martin. like a Negro. Oh yeah, but what's your rating of Young Rock?
I'd give it like an 8.5.
8.5.
A very good. It's like it wasn't a perfect season, but it was better than I expected. And I mean I was not.
Yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
it was solid.
It was solid. Like, and I'm glad that it got renewed. Glad that it's coming back. I want to see the story play out. just like Ballers. Like Ballers, I didn't think was gonna go anywhere, but they kept it on HBO for like 4 or 5 seasons. So I'm like, wow, like The Rock knows what he's doing when it comes to shows.
And yes, and why I say it was solid, because it was solid like a rock. We go through changes. I'm kidding.
Or like those old.
I hate that song that's stuck in my head now.
You ever see those old commercials? I think they were for Chevy, and it was like a rock.
Rock. Oh, like a rock. Chevy tough. Like, oh God. I don't see those commercials anymore.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore.
I don't see those commercials anymore. I've yet to ever see a chili commercial. Like, I've seen chili commercial, but never. I want my baby. Chili's baby back ribs, barbecue sauce. But yeah, another thing I was surprised is like going to have his final season soon is Blackish. Yeah, apparently it's been 7 seasons, and it seems like it was just 3 years ago. They're like, we're making this whole new. Which is weird because I know, like, okay, so Blackish is supposed to end probably next year or whatever, and that's it. But then Mixes and Grownish is still going on, which props to them for making 2. I've heard of 1 spinoff. 2 spinoffs of the same fucking shit? Holy shit.
Well, I'm honestly surprised about Mixedish, because Grownish I could see having like an audience because it's on Freeform. And like that whole thing is like, okay, it's the older daughter going to college, blah blah blah. But Mixedish, I thought it was gonna get canceled like the first season. I'm like, this can't last. But then it did. So there you go.
Well, I guess it's the same thing like Young Sheldon. Which I understand people love Sheldon.
I don't like Young Sheldon.
I don't get the cannot watch it because of the fact I'm like, why would I want to watch before Sheldon actually became a person? Because everything that Young Sheldon's doing right now is not like, it makes no sense, because if he's learning concepts and learning how to develop himself as a person, why is he such a to deal with beginning of the show? Like, he's doing a lot of life lessons in the thing. And okay, yes, his father cheated on him. I mean, not cheated on him. Cheated on his mom with some other woman. But I do not believe that traumatic effect would shut down all the evolution that's happening and throughout this show. Like maybe if he killed the mom, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that's like your brain was just like because like, that's a traumatic shit.
It's like the season finale of Young Sheldon. You just see the mother on the floor, and you see him like standing with knife in hand, and there's just blood.
Pow, right, and kisses.
And then it's like, wow, this show took a turn. But
I'm like, that the mom's still alive. That was never his mom. You're like, what? That's just a woman who pretends to be his mother.
I think part of the problem for me with Young Sheldon is the fact that it's shot completely differently than the show it's based on. I think if they did a traditional sitcom for this story, maybe I'd be more open to it, because
it probably should just not be called Young. It should have just been a new concept. Because you can have an erotic child. You don't need to call him Sheldon. You could have just have another character and made a whole nother show. And the concept would still work. Because, like, Young Sheldon, I guess, is based because they're like, oh, we're going to go off the coattails of our show. Yeah. And that's what's going to get people to watch it. I'm like, don't do that. Like, stand on your own 2 feet.
That's think about all what these networks.
The same thing as Frasier. Like,
true.
Frasier is a spinoff of Cheers. Which, unless you know about that, comes as a fucking surprise. You're like, wait, there was a what?
It's like, see? But it's funny though, like how, like networks, when they have something that's like perfect, or it's like a golden goose for them, they just try their best to squeeze as much as they can out of the entire franchise. Like, think about like NCIS New Orleans, NCIS Los Angeles. There was a 4th one, I think they got canceled. Law and Order. Law and Order SUV.
The one on Cyber.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was CSI.
Oh yeah, CSI Cyber. Yeah. Cyber. But now they have and they have FBI, and now they have FBI Most Wanted, and then Fox has 911, and now they have 911 Lone Star, and I'm like, all these networks just like, can we branch off of these? So it's like Young Sheldon, when they first came out with that, it didn't surprise me that they were doing it, but I'm like,
Oh yeah, it didn't surprise. But again, it was still like I wasn't surprised, but at the same time, I was just like,
yeah, like it's
I was
like
kind of just disappointed. I still was disappointed. I was just like, why?
like yeah, like the
I know
last
why, but why?
like the last thing, and I'm not like the biggest Big Bang Theory fan in the world, but I mean I thought it was an okay show. Like I know people that love the show, but the last thing that was going through my mind watching the finale was, man, I wish I knew about his backstory.
Yeah, like especially because in the show they show his backstory a lot, like or at least tell us about his backstory.
Yeah.
And okay, see the problem. Think about this in this way: Big Bang Theory is a adult comedy, adult situations, all these things. There's barely any kids on the show. I don't even think there were children on the show. Come to think of it, so it's all these adult things. Why now would I skip from that to be watching it from a child's perspective? Like, why would I make that jump as the main niche that watch Big Bang Theory? Because that wasn't a show for children, so I don't think that's the main niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now I get to see it from a kid's perspective. Like, no, like, and it wasn't. And Young Sheldon is not an adult comedy, so this I don't see what it's pretty much like how you had Family Guy, funny show, kind of went dead after like I don't watch it or whatever. You have Family Show.
Yeah.
Why? Oh shit, the Cleveland Show did not do well. Is I highly doubt it that their niche for Family Guy are black people. Like, I do not think that we make 85% of the people who watch this. Like, I wish it came from a black perspective. That's not a thing.
Or
I do not believe a fucking England Jewish whatever fucking he's supposed to be. And this Peter is really getting the concept of it. I wish there was a Boondocks.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way, like Family Matters, nobody was like, man, I wish I had a young Urkel. like I wasn't wishing for a Urkel. Then again, he was already young when the show started.
Yeah.
But still, like there's not like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's
and
like
that wasn't one of those that like because and then again as a good example, no one wanted to see adult Urkel. No one like if they were like we're making more Family Matters. Technically, what happened with Full House, I don't give a shit that they grew up and have their own problems. I'm not watching Fuller House. Fuck that shit. It was.
Which somehow that didn't have like 3 seasons. Like they really.
Oh yeah, no. Somehow, but Netflix can have that hit and miss because people who like I've never seen this my whole life. I never had television. My parents were like TV is the devil, and I just had to live with it. Like, so you can have that kind of like success with like shit, but like I don't get why if you're gonna have a spin-off, you still have to hit the same demographic, or at least if you're gonna do like how Grownish did, they moved it to where they're gonna get the demographic in.
Yes,
because Freeform, especially when it became Freeform, is towards young adults, coming of age kind of shit. Like, help. So that was a good way of doing that.
Yeah. Blackish
could not have come on Freeform because half of the racist thing they'd be like most people watching ABC for Freeform would be amazed. Like, what? There's different. It doesn't. They don't seem like a good. It's almost like how when you came on Netflix, I was like, and people were like, oh, you used to be on not the Hallmark Channel.
Lifetime.
On Lifetime. I was like, this show was on Lifetime. You mean the fucking network that's women only, power to the women, had a fucking show that was predominantly narrated by a creepy ass dude.
Well, I mean,
Like, yeah,
coming
okay,
from
he's hot. What do you do? No.
coming from the perspective of like Lifetime movies, it doesn't surprise me that a show about a stalker who kills women.
Yes, but the fact that it was like the perspective of the dude,
yeah.
he wins. Like the women
That's
are the bad people here. I was like,
yeah. Like, well, this reminds me. This was so funny. It was like a week or two ago. My sister came over and we were looking at the guide for the TV. And on Lifetime, they had a movie that was called From Straight A's to Triple X. And it's like the student and the teacher get together. It's like, this is a Lifetime movie. This is a fucking Lifetime movie.
no, well, they do have Lifetime like movies where like the girl goes rotten, whatever.
Yeah, like teen gets pregnant. Mom just found out.
Oh god, and the mom and the daughter ones, you're like, oh god, well, at least that's better than anytime like man and woman. I'm like, oh wait, let me stop you here. I know how this is gonna go. The guy's evil. Either the guy's evil or they introduce like other guy who's evil. And somehow even though the other guy who the girl's with is strong, somehow the woman wins in the end. Like I was like, so him just being muscular, he gets knocked out. And the girl's like, I have to fend for myself. I use a screwdriver for the first time in my life. Stop. You're like, oh.
I honestly think we could do a spin-off podcast where all we do is review Lifetime movies. And how silly
and
they
we
are.
would be just like how these shows are making spin-offs. Like, that's not our demographic. People are not watching us to watch like us rip through Lifetime. But now we have a whole different podcast. Like, and we would use it on the same Twitch, which is a change. Like, it would make no sense. But speaking of games, because I brought that shit up, they had the last season of Castlevania on Netflix. Huh?
It's the last season, or is it like just a new?
Last season.
Wow! So it's only been like 2.
It ended. No, it's been 4.
Oh shit!
Surprise, surprise! Yes, Netflix has a way of just randomly like, okay, we can put it in, put it in. Dude,
I'm just like,
like when they told me that Kibo, is it Kibo?
Kiba?
No, like the show.
I think it's. I thought it was Kiba.
Was it?
Like,
I thought it was Kibo.
I think it's.
Whatever. That show had 3 seasons, and they're like, "Oh, it's 3 seasons," and they were like, and I was watching something like, "Oh, this was like the best animated show." Like, it had 3 seasons in 1 year. I'm like, come again? And then I looked it up. I'm like, they're in 1 year. Like, I was so surprised by that. But Netflix can do that shit because like you released all of it in one fucking time. Like, this would not happen to other shits. But yeah, like all the 4, I think it probably was 2 years. So all the 4 seasons, they're done. And I have to say, like, okay, of course the action is amazing. The action was like the great. Like, there's a reason why people are like, it's Castlevania anime. It's not. It's not fucking anime. It's a cartoon. Keep that in mind. No, but it's not anime by the concept. But it's not made by a Japanese animator, by any animated studio I know of that's in Japan. Yes, it's based off a Japanese game. I shouldn't put quotation. It is a Japanese game. It's made by fucking. Is it Capcom or
Capcom?
It's Capcom. Yeah.
No, wait.
I don't know why my brain keeps thinking Konami.
No, I think it is Konami. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up because I don't think it's Capcom. I could be way wrong on that.
But yeah, anyway, it's still a Japanese company, no matter which one or not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Konami's actually in India. I'm like, still Asian. I don't care. But it's not. By the way, it's not India. But yeah. So
Castlevania is Konami.
Okay, it is Konami.
It's Konami.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
I was like. No, I'm pretty sure it's Konami, but like, Bird's like, are you sure though? Like, you can't take this back. This is live, motherfucker. So, well, at least for Twitch, it's recorded. But anyway.
Konami backwards is Capcom. Did you know that?
No, it isn't. But yeah, so yeah, they did all the 4 seasons, and yes, of course, action is amazing. The fluid motion. have your it's not Trevor. It's not. I don't know why I keep saying Trevor. That's not. Say it.
Trip.
It's not Trevor. It's like the fun way of saying his name, Belmont. Whatever. They have her. They have the magician, the sorceress, and
I
they
don't
of
know.
course have Alucard.
Yeah,
Alucard.
Alucard. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you go through that first season, you're like, okay, well they meet these people, and of course they're like there's ragtag group of like they're gonna argue and all this other stuff, but somehow get things done. Also the whole Dracula origin stuff, which I'm like, okay, got it. Dracula is a villain, understandably. He's supposed to be like the king of monsters. There's this whole backstory of him being like all these other crazy shits. I got it. What the priest did to him and his wife because witchcraft kind of made me like, oh no, like you when you see this, he's like, you killed his wife. The only thing that was keeping him from fucking everything that moves to hell, like, yeah, let's kill his wife, witchcraft, and burn her in the middle of the fucking city that you're in. And be like, fuck you, Dracula. We killed your wife. She was human. Fuck her too. And I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen here? What the fuck you think's gonna? So of course he just blows that shit to God Kingdom Come. All the fucking monsters come in, and this guy's in the goddamn church like, oh, but God will save me. I'm like, you think the Lord above is gonna save you for killing a woman who was fully innocent? Like, who was? He's like, bro, I literally made this woman so that Dracula would stop being a prick and you kill her. I gave you savior and you kill him. But that's a reference from a whole other movie. I fucking love that shit. Oh no, that's not even a movie. That's from a cartoon. It's like he cries you a sweat of tears and you kill him. That's what's SpongeBob. But yeah, so yeah, they do that whole thing. So of course, Dracula is doing his thing now that he's in sorrow, or whatever. And then of course the Belmont says they always do have to kill off these monsters, and you go from there. And like, there's twists and turns to the story. Like, of course, if you fucking played the games, you're kind of like, I know this already. But it still was a fun experience to like watch through this and see how the character development of like the Belmonts and how Belmont had to go from like pretty much hating the world to like, I love this woman and I love everybody else kind of thing, but I'm still never gonna get away from like, I'm an asshat. Pretty much like Tony Stark. Like pretty much how like Tony was like vapid, airhead. Well, not really airhead, but like vapid.
You watch your mouth when you speak about the dear Tony
bullshit.
Stark, the savior of all of us. Praise be Tony.
He did have a good character development, but he was a dick when he first came out.
Yes.
He was a dick.
A complete dick.
He was a dick with a good heart, and that was a problem. Like, same thing with, like, Trevor, he has a good heart, but that's going to be covered up by the booze that he's like... I always love this fun thing of fantasy is, like, apparently the livers are made from God, because every fantasy person is like, they drink themselves to death, and you're like, then why don't they die? Pretty sure if I take that as much drinking to throw up and then keep drinking, I'm going to die.
You know what?
Never tried it.
You just made me think of an alternate ending to Avengers Endgame. What if Tony Stark, when he has the Infinity Gauntlet and he snaps his fingers, he turns Thanos and all of Thanos' minions into shots of whiskey, and then he just starts downing everybody.
They all turn to shots, and they hear shot, 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 shot.
And then all the Marvel heroes are doing shots. Like, you just see Captain America like, fuck yeah, man. Black Panther, hell yeah, Wakanda forever. Two shots in each hand.
Oh yeah, he goes. Okay, but just aside. But yeah, no, Castlevania had a good set. Like, it was a very good, complete story. Like, I actually wanted to like. I know I would never do it, but like that. Anyone who's never seen the show, I don't want to spoil like crazy amount of stuff. I pretty much gave you just a precursor. But if you ever watched the whole series, like if you've never seen it, I would suggest watch all four because that shit was like. You know how like Avatar had that whole like the books came like oh yeah, book 1, book
Book
2,
two,
book 3. You
book
could have
three.
watched it all together. And yeah, and 4. Like you could have watched it all together and like it was a complete story. Like you're like, yeah, I had an experience. Like you didn't have to wait for anything. Like us who watched it when it was coming out, you're like every other week. You're just like, oh shit, ain't about to bring some heat. And Core was even worse when he was coming out. Like every goddamn week, you're like, who's got today? Oh, dude, they did my girl Core bad. But like every book ending was like, how crippled can she get? She lost her boyfriend. She can't walk. but yeah. So like, if you did the whole series, like it's a fabulous series. Of course, though, warning: there will be gore, there will be blood, there will be obscene things that will question your morality. But like, of course, what do you expect from a vampire fucking snore? Like, and it's not PG-13; it's rated fucking R. So people, it was just a good story. Like everyone develops in a way, and I thought like when I was watching the 3rd season, I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna tie all these people? Like because you're like, okay, these guys are on their own journey. Alcor's doing his thing, and he was left in a bad part at the end of season 3, which I will not talk about. But like, what will the sisters do and everything like that? And you're like, okay, how's this gonna end up? And then the fact that they go through the last season and like get everyone together, like all the stories tie up. They even introduce new people and they become a thing. And even when they introduce anyone, it didn't seem like we're rushing this. Let's push this guy in there. Fuck y'all. You follow this? Fuck you. Like, and there was no like rush elements. Like people, like everything worked all the way to the end. It was a masterpiece of a show. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Oh, wow. Can't give anything 10 out of 10. But like,
one of these days you will. One of these days.
Well, I've done it for video games. I've literally been like 10 out of 10. Like I'm playing it right now. Like going back in there.
There you go.
But like, well, but yeah, no, it was a very good experience. I suggest it to anyone who's never seen Castlevania on Netflix. All the episodes are on there. Watch it now. I am not sponsored, by the way. I just love the series.
We could be sponsored.
Oh, dude, we talk about Netflix way too much to not be sponsored by shit.
Put a Netflix sponsor right there, right below us. Right below us.
Well, that would actually be weird though, because we would have to watch like some random shit. Like, can you watch Billy goes to school? Like, that's a preschool show. But you watch Carmen Sandiego? Like, you got me there. You fucking got me. I did watch what was pretty much the modern version of This is Mexico. We will talk about it somehow in normal conversation. And tell you random facts, because that's how people talk. Like, I never ever introduced somebody to Florida and be like, Florida is a wonderful place. Our natural fruit is orange.
Yeah, that's like, it's like you have a friend coming to see Florida for the first time. You're driving through the streets and you're like, yeah, you know, I really like Fort Lauderdale. Did you know that in 1847, Fort Lauderdale used to be... like, who does this?
I don't even actually think our national fruit is orange.
No, yeah, it is. Florida,
oh, it is? Okay.
Florida oranges. I mean, I'm just guessing, but it has to be. It has to be.
I was like, watch him wrong. And this, like, no, watch is not even like it probably is orange, but watch it was like something like close to orange. It was like clementine. Like, really, bitch? Don't make clementine? Like, when the fuck? There's no clementine season. I've heard of orange season. Clementine. But yeah, it's bananas. Or it's plantains or some bullshit. That would be hilarious if it was bananas, because bananas are not indigenous to Florida. Go figure. Even though people would think palm trees are like, oh, palm trees grew in Florida. I'm like, do you think that something that is supposed to be out in the sun naturally just grew in what was swampland? You think that was a thing?
Right.
You think gators was like, go to the palm tree? But solid enough. Zach, tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can find me W Von Lewis, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. You can find the show. Now, I just realized that I've screwed this up on pretty much every episode. Okay. The Twitter is Moshi Moshi Pod. The Instagram is Moshi Moshi Podcast Des, because I could not get Moshi Moshi Pod when I first created the Instagram. So every single episode, I've just said Moshi Moshi Pod, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr.
And then you've been just going to a whole nother Instagram like, what the fuck? I don't know what these people talking about.
So for the people at home, I made a helpful graphic. For the people that are listening, I just wanted to let them know that, it's Moshi Moshi Podcast Des. My bad, every single episode I've messed that up. Subscribe to our YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's amazing. We would appreciate it if you subscribe. We do a lot of cool stuff, and we're planning on doing more cool stuff.
Also, tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your friends' friends.
And you can watch live on Twitch every Thursday. Today's Friday. We're doing, yesterday we weren't able to do the show, so sometimes if we can't do the show on Thursday, we will do it on a Friday or on the weekend. And the podcast is everywhere.
We're going to say Spotify, Audible, Podcore, Stitcher. I think I said iTunes already. Yes. Boom, there's the one. Anyway, also, again, you keep forgetting. If you're watching on YouTube, gotta like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you can always see us, because the YouTube algorithm is a bitch. Dude, even now, when I go on my recent ones, I'm like, I've been subscribed to certain people for years. Do I see their videos? No, I did that fucking bell icon, or else this shit doesn't. I'm like, I watch these every time they come out. But if you really wanted to see them, you would put the bell icon. I'm like, what? I'm missing episodes. F you.
Oh man.
Rant over though. With everything else out in this world. Oh wait, also you can find me.
Yeah. You gotta let them know where you're at, man.
No one hits me up at it by June, or if they have, I would have messages like, "No, God." But I also have my Facebook, Lincoln Washington Edwards, which is my whole goddamn name, which I will spell in detail. I'm kidding. Dude, again, there are people who do not know to spell my first name. I don't know how. It's on your $5 bills. And people still be like, LIC, what? Where do you see Link in that shit?
Oh, man.
But yes, with the same old BFN, bye for now.
And pork chop. Young Urkel. Do it. Do it. I want to see it.
I'm only 7. Oh, speaking of young things, though, becoming old things and having spin-off, before we end the episode, iCarly's coming back. Again, we're not sponsored. We're just, why are we not